All right, so thank you very much for that great introduction. My name is Kyle O'Brien. I'm one of the national product trainers with Samsung. We are going to have a fun little hour here. Just a couple of housekeeping items. Everyone is muted, so you won't be able to speak. But if you do have any questions, there is a question and answer pod on the right side of the screen. Please don't hesitate to ask any questions in there. I'll be definitely checking those out. I have another screen open with those open to that. Not to mention, I do have Jonathan Franklin here with me as well, who will be happy to answer those questions along the way. So if he does feel like something is important enough to bring to the group, he'll definitely just interrupt me at any point in time and say, hey, Kyle, something I need to bring to your attention. If there's something I'm not addressing to your fullest capability or fullest needs, please just put it in the question box, and I'll be happy to go more in detail on something. What do you guys want to see this year? What are you excited about? Things like that. That way, when we get to certain areas during this presentation, I can make sure and address those things for you as we're going through this. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and kick things off. We got a full pack schedule, so we got 55 minutes left here. We're going to go ahead and get started here. Now, we start open here with all of our product line, and this is a big lineup for us this year, and it's really awesome. You see at the top, we have 3 offerings from the QLED 8K lineup this year, not just the one that we've had for the last 2 years. We've now expanded that assortment to really give those customers more of an ability to pick which one of these 8K TVs they want to choose from. Is it more of an entry-level 8K? Do they just want to dip their toe in? Or do they want to go full-fledged into it? Do they want the infinity screen? Do they want the no-gap wall mount and everything that comes along with it? And do they want to go with the Q950? One of the things you will see is that there are multiple screen sizes available for the 8Ks as well, because we know that not everyone can fit an 82 or 85-inch screen in their house. But a lot of customers are looking for that next-generation technology. So that's very important to them. Plus, when we step down into that middle tier there, we have both Crystal UHD and QLED 4K. So we have 2 different categories of TVs there. Now, when we start with our Crystal UHD TVs, this is going to be our mass market TVs. They're going to be the ones that really get driven through for the secondary bedrooms, or the TVs that kind of don't get used as much. Or maybe someone's just looking for a basic TV set that doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but still gives them great picture quality and a ton of smart options. That's what Crystal UHD TVs are going to be able to provide for them. Excuse me. And then when we step up to our QLED 4K, these are going to be our premium 4K lineup. So we start with our Q60, and then when we step to our Q70, we're going to gain a better motion rate. But with the Q60 and Q70, we're implementing a new lighting technology that is also found in the frame TVs this year. Something else you will notice on this broad overview, as we step to the Q80, this is going to be where full array starts. Now, if you take a look at the TVs themselves, every one of the TVs that are currently out on the market from Samsung in 2020 that offer a center base are also a full array TV set. So it's nice and easy to be able to provide that solution for a customer. Oh, you want a full array TV? Or, oh, you need something that's going to fit on a small stand? Boom, it's real easy to be able to kind of pick and choose which one that's going to be for them. And then finally, we do have our lifestyle lineup. It is expanded, it is growing, and it is a fantastic lineup for our customers this year. We have the frame TV that's been very successful in years past, but we've expanded it. Now, I know everyone's been asking for those 32 and the 75-inch TVs. Well, we didn't just give you one of them. We gave you both of those different screen sizes. So we offer that 32-inch and 75-inch, and we'll explain to you what those specifics are on those TVs. And then probably one of my favorite TVs for the year is our Terrace TV, the outdoor TV. So we now offer a solution inside of the house as well as outside of the house. So it really kind of provides that end-to-end solution for that customer to where they really have the ability to know how the TV is going to function inside and outside. They're going to have the same smart functionality. And it's really going to provide them a solution that's going to be something that's going to last for them within the weather. Plus, we have the mobile-centric Sero TV, and then, of course, the more design-centric Serif TV that we offered as well. Now, one of the things you probably noticed was how many large screen sizes we offer. This is something that really happened in last year and even kind of at the end of the year before that, is bigger screen sizes are beginning to take over. Customers are trying to get the biggest screen size they can possibly get in their space. So 75-inch screen sizes, I'll go back to that last slide, shows that we have 75-inch screen size in almost every category. Plus, we have larger sizes in most categories as well, because we want to make sure that when we're talking to that tech pioneer that really wants the best of the best product, we have an option for them. Plus, when we offer something that for a customer that wants just the basics, like the TU8000, we still offer an 85-inch for that. So it's really going to provide an end-to-end solution in those larger screen size that customers are really going to be excited about getting. Now, I can't start any presentation without a little wow moment, and the wow moment for Samsung this year is our Infinity screen. So when it comes down to it, our Infinity screen is an amazing technology, and it is something that is new and that is changing the industry, because we have a 99% screen to bezel ratio. That bottom left image really shows off how close that image comes to the outside of the panel of this TV. Now, we've moved that black matrix that's typically around the outside to behind the panel to allow us to get that image all the way to the edge of this. So you really are just seeing the bezel that's holding the frame of the TV together at this point. And now we've also taken the styling and design of that bezel to the next level too, with that nice brushed aluminum. It's also got those holes that's going to really allow our next generation audio system to kind of play into this as well. Because we have something called object tracking sound, those holes obviously going to distribute the heat out of there, but it will also help with that next generation audio that we're using as well, which we will talk about that in later slides. One of the other things you will note is this Infinity screen is available not only on our top-end Q950, but also the Q900. So performance-wise, those TVs are very comparable. One of the biggest differences in the two TVs is really going to be the depth of the TV, because the inputs are actually built into the Q900 versus the Q950 does come with a One Connect box. So it's kind of giving you the best of the best with and without a One Connect solution. It does go from 25 millimeters down to 15 millimeters, so it's quite a bit of a depth change, but even at 25 millimeters, it's still less than an inch thick. So it's still a very thin TV. All right, so I couldn't talk Samsung without talking color. And our color starts with our quantum dot technology, or what our Q stands for within QLED technology. Now, one of the biggest benefits we get with QLED is the fact that we can scale these TVs. Now, the fact that we can really produce these TVs in multiple screen sizes really helps, because we're not telling these customers, well, you're going to have to get a 55, a 65, or a super, super big screen. We can get TVs in the middle there. We can get TVs smaller than that. We can get TVs even larger than that as well. And we're not going to have such a crazy budget that goes along with that to make sure that we're going to provide solutions for customers at any price point, and as well as any series TVs as well. Now, this also allows us to provide down to a 32-inch model with our Q50 and up to a 98-inch with our Q900. Technically, our Q950 only comes up to an 85-inch, so the 98-inch would be the carryover from last year. Now, one of the biggest benefits, though, is that we offer that Q guarantee, which is that lifetime guarantee against burning. Now, competing technologies such as OLED can't provide that, because that's just an inherent flaw of that technology. Now, hey, great picture quality at times, but unfortunately, this is one of the things where QLED really kind of wins out in that sustainability point. And that's something that customers can really get behind, is it's a peace of mind thing, that they don't have to worry about burning. They don't have to worry about, did their kid pause the video game and leave and come back 2 hours later, or are they going to watch the news for too long? Things of that nature. It's going to allow us to be able to provide that peace of mind solution for the customers. Now, one of the other things is, of course, color accuracy. So the color of that red Ferrari there, we've all seen a red Ferrari driving down the road, so they have one. But that color of a red Ferrari is very identifiable. And with a Samsung QLED TV, that color red is going to be very accurate. And it doesn't matter if it's a dark scene, a bright scene, or just a kind of a middle-of-the-road brightness scene. That color red is going to look just like it would if it was outside. And that's a very important thing to really drive home to the customers, and that's what Quantum Dot gives to it. Not only is it scalable, not only does it have that guarantee, but it's accurate within color at any luminance level. So when we talk about TVs within our product, the first thing we really want to talk about is our lifestyle lineup, because these are really some differentiators for us. And the frame TV, of course, as I mentioned, has a 32-inch and a 75-inch. The Terrace is going to be our outdoor TV. The 43-inch Sero will be our mobile-friendly TV, so it's great for those customers that are taking a lot of content in on their mobile device, as well as the Serif TV. That's more of a freestanding design piece. I actually have a family member that purchased one of these, and they love it because it's in, quote, their sitting room. So they don't have a lot of guests that come in there, but it's a nice piece that they can talk to. So let's get started with the frame itself. The 32-inch and 75-inch are going to be the new frames. Now, I'll start with the 75-inch because I think this is a very important thing to talk to, because the 75-inch is essentially just the larger version of all the other frames. It's not going to have any big differences. It's going to contain all the other same attributes for that. So there's no limitations to that TV compared to the other models. And it's something that a lot of people are really worried about with the 75-inch model. That's why we're going to specifically call out that the 75-inch is going to be identical to the 65, the 55, and the 50-inch models. Now, the 32-inch, though, it's a little bit special. It can be mounted vertically as well as horizontally. It can sit on a stand 90 degrees upright, or it can kind of lean back more like a picture frame. It also has 3 additional customizable bezels that go along with it. So it still comes with the brown, the beige, the black, and the white as optional accessories, but you can also get a pink, a lemon, or a platinum. Now, that platinum looks great if you're putting this in a kitchen because it matches stainless steel appliances. Now, someone asked earlier about One Connect boxes. The One Connect boxes on the frame TVs, the 32-inch frame is a little bit smaller. If you remember our One Connect minis from years ago, it's closer to those size. These standard frame TVs, any of the larger size of 32 will have a normal size One Connect box, but they are smaller than last year. So they typically will fit inside of a standard 14.5-inch stud space. The 32-inch frame, the last thing I'll mention is a full HD TV because of the size. But it's still a fantastic picture quality with a QLED panel. So not missing out on much of anything when it comes to that 32-inch. It's a really exciting new product, and it's kind of flying off the shelves at this point. So one of the things I mentioned earlier is the fact that we have that new lighting technology that is found inside of the frame, as well as the Q60 and Q70. So just remember this when we get to the QLED portion. It is a dual LED technology, and it is exactly that. We are using 2 different types of LEDs to light the picture. Most typical TVs use blue LEDs or cool temperatured LEDs to light the picture, and then we use software algorithms to adjust picture quality. Because we are using both warm and cool temperature LEDs, we are able to control those color tones better. We're getting better brightness levels. We're getting better off-axis viewing. So our artwork looks more realistic. Our picture quality when we're watching TVs and movies looks more realistic, and it has better quality to it. So that's why we've got that as a step-up feature from our Crystal UHD to our Q series, because it is a promotional better product for that to us. I'm going to pause for a minute and take a look at the question box. I'm going to ask Jonathan if there's anything that there is something we should address. I see a few questions kind of in there, but I want to make sure that there's nothing we need to address with the group. Jonathan, is there anything we need to address with the group?
Yeah, so a good question came up about the infinity screen and can it be installed flush with the wall? I thought that was a really good question, but I'm just going to plant the seed here because I know we're going to discuss that in just a couple slides. But it is one of the TVs that is compatible with our no gap wall mount, and Kyle will be sharing a little bit more information on that in just a few. I think some of the other questions that came through, we will wait until we get to those portions of the slides. But that's the only one that I see for the moment.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jonathan. I'll go back to the presentation then. All right. So other things that we're going to find with the frame itself is things that have changed within the TV itself. So the art stores have changed a little bit. It's going to recognize and be able to change the way you search for content a little bit easier. There's also going to be a little bit more colors with matting options to really provide better solutions for consumers. We still offer the customizable frames that really make the frame a great piece for the TVs. In my opinion, I think the frame TV, you're doing a disservice to the customer if you don't actually get them a customizable frame to it. Even if you're getting the black frame that goes over the quote black color of the TV, it still makes it look more like a picture frame and not like a TV, which is what most customers are really trying to do with a frame TV. And then finally, the art sensor is probably the most important thing on the TV because this is what turns the TV on and off. This is what it senses motion in the rooms. This is what senses the light in the room to where it turns the brightness up and down. And one of these things that kind of gets overlooked is where this sensor is and how it works. It's actually on the bottom of the TV. So just make sure you're not mounting sound bars flush up against the bottom of the TV, or make sure you're not mounting this TV flush against a mantle, because that can impact the way that sensor itself would work. The one last thing I did forget to mention in the bezel section, or the customizable frame section, is for the 2020 TVs, they will need to make sure they are using a 2020 frame. Now, older TVs can use the 2020 frames, but newer TVs cannot use the older frames. It has to do with the active voice amplifier that we have in the TVs themselves, and it doesn't support those holes itself. All right, so for the Terrace itself, I know we had a question come up about the panels on the Terrace. These are designed for full shade or partial shade. So what that means is we don't want to have sunlight directly hitting the TV. If it's under a covering and it reflects off the ground, that's okay. If it's in an area where it's, again, covered, but will have a lot of ambient light, again, that's okay. If it's like on the side of a wall where the sun isn't actually going to shine directly on it, then that's going to be something that's going to allow that to work. I know this picture is very deceptive because it looks like the sun's kind of shining down to it. But just know it is a full shade or partial shade that doesn't want direct sunlight. Most outdoor TVs are that way until you get to the commercial range, which steps the price up quite a bit. The most important thing, though, is that this TV is a full array TV set, so it's still a high-performing TV. It is a 120 hertz TV. It will reach a 2000 nit brightness, and it does support the IP rating of IP55. So it will support the dust and the water, so it can withstand the elements outside. It is an extremely easy TV to install because it just uses standard base brackets, so you can use pretty much any mount you want that will support that. Not to mention, it has great compatibility with different devices and way you connect. We also offer the soundbar that goes along with it as an optional accessory. That's a great thing to be able to try as well, because if you want to add additional sound to it, you can purchase the soundbar to go along with this TV, and then boom, you've got a lot of additional sound. It does have speakers in it, but if you wanted more sound, the premium outdoor soundbar is still IP55 rated as well. Now, there's plenty of connections in the TV itself. I mentioned it is a smart TV, so it has all the same smart functionality that all the same Samsung TVs inside of the house are going to have. Plus, it's going to have HDMI inputs, USB inputs, Ethernet inputs, and most importantly, this will have an HD-based T input. So you can use your distributed video and run it directly to this TV and not have to worry about running an HDMI out there or putting a second receiver outside. But we also even include a water-resistant media bay that if you wanted to add some type of smart assistant or some type of device out there, you could even add something like that. There are dust covers available for these products as well. So again, the Terrace is probably one of my favorite new products of the year because I think it's going to be a game changer because now customers can have that familiarity of having a Samsung TV inside of the house as well as a Samsung TV outside of the house. And they don't have to learn a new TV system just because they walked outside their back door. When we take a look at our next one, we are going to be looking at the Sero itself. This is going to be really designed for that customer that wants to use the mobile phone a lot. So it will mirror from their phone to the TV itself. If you're using a Galaxy device with Android 10 and above, it will completely mirror that device. And if you rotate it sideways, the TV itself will rotate with it. So if you're watching a YouTube video and then you want to go full screen, you turn your phone sideways to make a full screen, the TV itself will rotate with that. Then if you want to go back to portrait mode, maybe you're going to TikTok or another social media platform that someone that may be taking a lot of content in on a mobile device would use, you could use that and it'll be in portrait format so that they can take in a lot more content that way. For iOS devices, it still does work. It doesn't do the auto rotation. Now, for portrait mode, that isn't completely compatible yet. They are still working on that. It will just play everything in horizontal mode, but you can still mirror to the TV itself. It does have a very powerful 4.1 channel audio system that really does add to the experience because now when you're watching those movies and videos, it really adds a lot of audio to it as well. With the Serif itself, as I mentioned before, this is kind of more a design-centric TV. It looks like the letter I from the side in the serif font. That's kind of where its name comes from. It does also still have a really powerful audio system, and by far one of my favorite things that it has is the easy connection with the NFC. It does definitely support AirPlay too, but the connection with NFC is at the top of the TV. So you can simply tap your phone on top of the TV and then you're paired up with Bluetooth to be able to stream your music right to the TV itself through those powerful speakers. When we talk clarity on these TVs, we are really talking about resolution. And resolution is kind of key when we talk about a lot of things. So 4K was 4 times the resolution of 1080. Now, a lot of people, unfortunately, get this misinformation that 4K and 8K is only 2 times the resolution jump because it's only 4 and 8. If you take a look at the images on the right, of course it takes 4 4K images to make up what an 8K screen is because you have the horizontal resolution and the vertical resolution. You've got to kind of multiply them both together to get that 4 times the resolution. Now, when we take a look at this, it's not just about the physical resolution itself, though. As we step to 8K, we have more pixels on the screen to be able to do things with. So we have better gradations in color. We have better, smoother transitions as we're going across the screen. We also have better transitions when we're talking about our black levels. So when we go from black to a charcoal to a gray, we can have a smoother transition just in our black level as well because we have more pixels to actually make that transition with. And the last thing I'll mention is that this isn't our first generation or even our second generation of 8K TVs. This is our 3rd generation of 8K TVs. So we've been around the block and we know what we're doing with it. A lot of customers kind of ask, but isn't it a little too soon for 8K? Because there's not really a lot of content. You know what? They're not wrong that there's not a lot of content, but I would say that I feel that they're wrong in the fact that is it wrong to buy them? Absolutely. I've had an 8K now for 2 years, and I absolutely love it. It takes anything I watch from DirecTV to streaming services to Comcast, any of those cable companies, and it will upscale it because we have great processors in our TV. Samsung is the leader when it comes to processors in the world. Not to mention the ecosystem itself is growing so fast. By the time they go to buy another TV, 8K is probably already going to be relevantly available. The next generation gaming consoles have already said they're going to support 8K gaming with PlayStation and Xbox launching later this year. The Olympics were going to be shot in 8K. Consumer cameras are already available in 8K. Plus, how many people walk around with an S20 already? That records in 8K. So we've got to give them something to be able to play that back on. So having a TV that's acceptable on really gives us the ability to provide that customer a great solution for something they already have in their hand. Not to mention, there are avenues like YouTube that already have 8K content, and that's just going to grow because we have our streaming codecs like AV1 that allows us to compress that 8K content in real time to be able to get that across in normal internet speed. When we talk about contrast on our TVs, it's really about our backlighting system on our TVs. So we have our direct full array starting at the Q80, as I mentioned earlier, because those are also the ones that offer a center-based stand with it. Every time we take a step above the Q80, we get a better full array experience, which means we're going to get more zones of control. We're going to get smaller zones, so it's going to give us a little bit better black level. We also have our anti-blooming technology that really gives us the ability to provide a better black level experience from a software standpoint, because what this is going to do is make sure that we're not going to have a big glow around something like the moon there. When you go outside at night, you don't see a big glow around a moon. So when we look up at the sky, when we were also watching it on the TV, we don't want to see that either. So we want to make it as true to life as we can. So we have our proprietary anti-blooming technology that's going to improve that black level performance by removing that halo effect or that blooming effect around the outside of images. And then finally, we also have our local power distribution that's found within our 8K TV sets. Now, the local power distribution is a great feature to have because just the candle here is a great representation of that. The candle itself or the flame itself is very, very well lit. However, the candle itself is only glowing at a much lower rate. So we don't want the candle to be quite as brightly lit as what that flame is. So we could take some of the power out of where that candle is and put that into where the flame is to be able to keep that brightness longer, keep that brightness higher. And then it'll also improve the black level around areas that don't have the possibility of having a halo or glow around them. And then the anti-blooming effect can do its job even better. As we move off of the center of that flame, we can obviously take power away from the LEDs as we go to make sure that we don't see any of that light. And that continuously improves the picture quality in that aspect. We also have our ultra viewing and anti-reflective technologies that are found within all the TVs that offer full array. Ultra viewing angle is basically going to be something that allows us to see anything or see the best picture from any seat in the room. So it doesn't matter if you're going to be in the center of the room to have the best seat in the house. With ultra viewing angle, you can sit to the left, to the right, and see a great picture because the colors aren't going to shift because we have that ultra viewing technology that allows us to have better seating for multiple seats within the room. Plus, our ultra reflecting technology, or some of you may remember it as ultra black, does absorb that light versus reflecting it back out into the room. And we've kind of been known for that technology for the last few years. And this really allowing us to kind of showcase what it's like to have a TV that works in any environment, because it doesn't have to be in a perfectly pitch dark room for us to really still be able to give that customer a great picture quality experience. We're going to give them a good experience even in a bright room. So that customer can still have their doors open, their windows open, their skylights open, and they can still watch TV and they can still get a great experience. And that's one of those important things that as you step up through our lineup and as you get from the Q80 and above, we have these additional technologies like this that really improve that picture quality even in these type of lighting situations. The other aspect of our picture quality is things like picture clarity that used to be called auto motion. So some of you are probably familiar with that, but they've changed the name to Picture Clarity because they've changed the way the menu system itself works too. So this is basically how the motion interpolation and the black frame insertion works within the TV. Now, the best thing about this is we have it set to auto because generally that's what customers feel the need, what they like. However, we also give the customization to put this on custom and off. So if that customer wants to customize this, they can. If they want to turn it flat out off, they can do that as well. So we want to make sure and give those customers the ability to change things around as much as possible to get the best custom picture for their needs. We're not just saying, hey, we're Samsung, this is the way you have to watch TV because this is the way we think it is. It really gives us the ability to kind of let the customer be flexible. They can turn the blur and the judder all the way down if they wanted to, or they can turn it all the way up if they really like to add motion smoothing to their TV. When we talk about AI features within the TV, we have some really good AI features. One of them is being that object tracking sound feature. I mentioned this briefly when I talked about the infinity screen. And this is how we add additional speakers into the TV itself to give a better cinematic experience for when that customer either A, doesn't purchase an audio system, or B, they just aren't using it at that given time. I know there's times when, you know, I get up extra early and my wife's still sleeping, so I don't turn my audio system on. So I just use the TV speakers. And that really helps because, you know, having those additional speakers in the TV still gives me a better experience than what I would with a standard TV audio. So I know I'm not getting the same experience I am with my complete audio system, but it's still better than what I would get elsewise. So there's two types of object tracking sound. We have standard object tracking sound, which is found on our Q80 and our Q90. And then we also have an object tracking sound plus, which is found on all of our 8K TVs, so our 800, 900, and 950. The difference in the two is the number of speakers you get. So the object tracking sound, or OTS, is going to be the bottom speakers and the top speakers. And then OTS plus, or object tracking sound plus, would be the bottom, the top, and the left and right speakers. So the left and right speakers come in with the 8K TV set. That provides that really great cinematic effect. So when those helicopters are flying around that scene there, you're going to feel like you hear the audio moving around that scene, much like if you'd have an Atmos bar or a Dolby Digital bar or something along that line. It really provides a great cinematic experience. Plus, we have this active voice amplifier that allows us to kind of take the disturbances out of the room. It allows us to recognize when a blender or a vacuum or something along that line is causing a noise in the room and turns up the vocals on the TV to kind of eliminate those noises. And this is the feature that I say is new to the frame that allows those frame bezels to have to change. We also have the adaptive picture and adaptive sound. I'm going to start with adaptive sound because it's a little easier for me to get through quickly. With adaptive sound, it'll actually adjust based on what content you're watching. So what it's doing is it's using auto content recognition to recognize what you're watching. So if you're watching a sporting event like baseball, hopefully starts up in another couple of weeks, we'll hear that crack of the bat really well versus if you were hearing it more on a dialogue base, which would be great for when you're watching the evening news. It changes based upon the content you're watching so you don't have to constantly chase the volume and go up and down and up and down. Plus, you also have the adaptive picture functionality. And the adaptive picture functionality, I think, works really well in conjunction with that anti-glare or anti-reflective technology, as well as the ultra viewing technology. I know this starts a little lower. This starts actually at a Q70, so it provides a solution for customers even below you get those advanced technologies. But this adjusts the picture quality in 4 different settings: a dark, a normal, a bright, or a very bright room. So what it's going to do is actually fluctuate the brightness of the picture and adjust the details and the contrast as well. Because I know the first thing you guys are thinking is, okay, this is just another eco mode. Well, it's not, because eco mode was all about saving customer money and making sure we use the littlest amount of power possible. This keeps picture quality to the forefront. So we want to make sure that we're really driving that message home, because there's a lot of customers that have a really bright room during the day, but it's also dark at night. So we don't want to be either blinding them out at night or making it too dark to be able to see during the day. So this actually allows the TV to fluctuate based upon the environment it's in to make sure that's going to work for them. Now, these last 4 features, the object tracking sound, active voice amplifier, adaptive picture, and adaptive sound plus, are all defeatable. You can do that within the intelligent mode menu, because I know that's probably the next question that's going to pop up into my question and answer box is, how can I get rid of these? Those things can all be defeated within the intelligent mode, and they can all be done individually. So if you want one, you can leave one. If you want all of them, you can leave them all. If you want them all off, you can turn them all off. It's up to the customer, up to the installer, et cetera, which ones they want to use. Then we also have, of course, a lot of control options. We have our QLED TV remotes, we have our TU8 series remotes, and we have our standard TU7 series remotes. Plus, we have the capabilities of control things with mobile devices and you know, of course, our 232 and IP control partners. This really is a big list. I know I heard a couple of these when they were talking about the upcoming trainings. I believe it was RTI that's kind of coming up. So that's great that you guys are getting training on them, because they function with our products. And that really allows us to kind of provide an end-to-end solution, because now customers can really get the functionality that they want out of their products, including those outdoor TVs, those lifestyle products. They will still function with these type of control systems as well. Plus, we have things like our voice assistants. So we have Bixby built in, plus we offer Alexa and Google Assistants that help change up the mix. So because we know a lot of customers already have voice assistants in their house. So we don't want to try to say, oh, we don't really care that you already have an existing ecosystem. We want you to use ours. We want to be able to function with theirs. So if you want to change that voice button on the remote control to function with Alexa, you can do that through the menus of the TV. And if you wanted to change with Google, you can actually do that as well within the TV. Google is not yet active. Alexa is. Google will come with an update here soon. But the most important thing to remember, though, is these are built in for the TU8000 and above. So you don't even need an Echo Dot or anything along that nature to get these features built into the TV, because they're literally built in. You just sign into your account, and now the TV functions as another Echo for you or another Alexa device. Now, with voice control, I think it's kind of important to realize that I know a lot of your customers are probably going to go through distributed video and things of that nature. So when we're doing things like auto game mode, where we're trying to make sure and get the best input lag for the customers, they can use voice to turn on game mode. So because the TV can't recognize it because it's going through a distributed video source, it doesn't realize that you're playing a game, and it can't turn that on and off by itself. So when you put a game in, you can say game mode on, game mode off, and it'll turn game mode on and off for that. And I did notice a voice control come up here, or a question pop up here that says, can you use Josh AI for voice control? Absolutely, Josh AI is one of our control partners. You do just have to have the controller for that. We don't have that built into the TV itself. All right, so other things we can do is, you know, we've got a lot of mobile experience within the TV itself, not just on the Sero TVs. So something new for this year is called Tap View. So you can literally just tap your phone to the side of the TV if it's a Galaxy S7 or newer, and it will pair the two together. So if you have a 7000 or 8000 series TV, it'll do a full screen. If you have a Q60 or above, it's going to open up multi-view, and you can pick and choose how you want your TV to mirror that image. One of my favorite ones to do is the side selection. My son loves to play Mario on his Nintendo Switch, and I put YouTube up on the other side for him so he can learn how to find the moons or the stars on the different levels that he can't figure out. and it gives them a way to do walkthroughs on different games. So, you know, it's a cool new way for a 6-year-old to be able to play video games. Whereas when I was a kid, you used to have to go to the store and buy a book that, you know, have to try to somehow follow along with, using 3 or 4 pictures for an entire level. So it's definitely changed the experience. There are also compatibility with iOS devices. You know, unfortunately, tap view doesn't work. We can't really enforce that they put specific hardware in their device to make tap view work, but it will still do the full screen and multi-view capabilities. The landscape, portrait, and fitness, though, is one of those things. That you cannot do with the actual iOS device, though. That's going to be something that is limited to just Galaxy devices at this time. However, we were the first person to launch the Apple TV app, and we still have it on our TVs. We have it on the TVs 7,000 and above, so pretty much all of our TVs offer the Apple TV app. And it doesn't just stop at Apple TV. We have the Apple TV Plus that's built into the Apple TV app. Plus, we have Apple Music. That's a separate app, but it's still available for us. And then we have the AirPlay 2 functionality as well. So we have a lot of great ecosystem things for someone that may be on an iOS or Mac or an iPad or something like that. We still have a lot of compatibility with being able to do things with their devices. So it's a really great functionality piece. We also still have smart things that will function. So if your customer isn't looking for a full-fledged control system, smart things is a great way to go because they can add door locks, they can add window sensors, they can add all these different things, and they can control it through their TV. They can control it through their smartphone, and they can even get notifications up on their TV. So if they have a Ring doorbell, they can pair it with the smart things, and they can get a notification on their TV when someone walks up to their door and pushes the Ring doorbell. It'll show them an image on their screen of who's at the front door. It's a really cool ability to use smart things. And like I said, I know it's not the ideal solution. We'd always want to sell control systems to give them a more complete system. But sometimes this functionality at least gives them an option to get them by, and then once they get hooked on this, then we can go back in and get them a complete control system in their home. Otherwise, we do have some great design elements within our TV itself. Ambient Mode was strictly a QLED product before this year. We have it all the way down to the TU8000 this year. So with the TU8000 and the Q60, you're going to get a standard ambient mode, which is going to be able to match your wall style. It'll be able to put images up. It'll be able to put artwork and even do stuff like music wall, which is a cool synthesizer thing that as you play in music, it'll kind of go to the beat of the music, which really adds to a little bit of effect if you're having a little get together playing some music, and it just adds a little bit to where you don't just have a big black rectangle on your wall. As customers are going larger and larger, this really allows us to kind of be able to do that for them. We also have the more advanced ambient mode with Ambient Mode Plus found on the Q70 and above that features more content. So you can do things like the special edition, which is great for if you're on a stand because it can just match colors in your room. If you have the info, it allows you to put the time and weather up on the screen. And then it has a little glass ball in the middle, or what looks like a glass ball in the middle, that changes based upon the weather outside. If it's cold and snowy, it's going to be frosty. If it's rainy, it's going to be dropping water in it. It's a really cool thing. Yes, Music Wall is available on Ambient Mode Plus. I know it's not showing up there, but it was literally just because we didn't have any more room for anything else to put over there. Other options we have for design is the no-gap wall mount and invisible connection. Good news is the no-gap wall mount comes with every TV that it supports. So the Q950, it comes with it. The frame TVs, it comes with it. Those are the 2 TVs that work with the no-gap this year, and those are the 2 TVs that come with it. You also have the ability for the One Connect box and then invisible connection. Those all come with those TVs as well. So all the frame TVs and the Q950 will have those 2 connections. The 32-inch frame is a more mini One Connect, and it does have not the invisible connection. It's more of like a coax cable. It's a little bit larger in size. Now, I know some of you asked about the size of our One Connect boxes. So the One Connect boxes are on the top right here. So you can see the Q950, the frame are both narrow enough to fit within a standard stud space. Obviously, they have different depths and heights based on the power supplies that are in them. And then the frame is definitely, the 32-inch frame is definitely much smaller than that. And then, of course, I just added a bunch of wall boxes here to show that they will support your standard wall box from many different manufacturers here that we can provide as solutions, and really going to give you the ability to have plenty of options. And this is just a quick Google search. There's plenty more out there that provide great solutions. So with this being said, the frame and even the Q950 definitely became more user-friendly and more installer-friendly when it comes to the One Connect box size, because I know that was a big thing that a lot of people didn't like about it. But now it's really getting to be something that's a lot more user-friendly for them. When we take a look back at our lineup, I'm going to take you through what we call a two-step deck. What it does for us is allows us to kind of step through the lineup with a couple of features that allows us to share why we think it's important to step to the next model and how it's easily remembering what you want to do to step to the next model for your customers. For the overview here, I take a look at the good and realize those are 120 motion rate TVs. When I look at the better, those are the 240 motion rate TVs. And then the best ones there, those are going to be our 8K TVs within our lineup. For our two-step aspects of this, we take a look at our Q60. So the things it gained from the TU8000 was it gained the fact that it's a QLED panel, so it gains 100% color volume. And then it also gains that new lighting technology called dual LED. So those two things make a big impact on how that TV performs compared to the TU8000. If I'm looking at what the Q60 offers compared to the Q70, the things I feel is most important for the Q70 to be a better TV would be the fact that it offers a better processor because it offers the quantum processor 4K. The Q60 only offers the quantum processor 4K Lite. It also offers the more advanced form of Ambient Mode, so Ambient Mode Plus. And then your motion rate steps up from 120 to 240. So those three things really provide a better solution for customers. So if they're a sports customer, if they're a gaming customer, just the motion rate alone gets a lot of people to step from the 60 to the 70 itself. When we go from the 70 to the 80, this is where we get our full array technology. Our object tracking sound technology also comes into play. So we have speakers at the bottom and the top. Plus, we have that ultra viewing angle and the anti-reflection technology in this as well. And then when we go to the 80 and 90, this is going to be the best of the best when it comes to our 4K TV set. So it has our best full array, it has our best HDR capabilities. And that's an important attribute when someone says, look, I want the best 4K TV set Samsung offers. Boom, Q90. Easy way to kind of reference that. And when someone's looking between the Q80 and Q90, that's essentially the big differences between the two is that it has a better full array system and a better HDR capabilities. As we step from the 90 to the 800, of course, we're going to get 8K technology, so better resolution. It does step to the better processor, so 8K processor, which the way it gets better is it does machine learning and deep learning, and then object tracking sound plus. So it gains those left and right speakers on the TV itself. Stepping from the 800 to the 900, you get that infinity bezel, so that zero bezel to it. And then you have a better version of HDR, so it gets a little bit brighter on the image quality. And then from the 900 to the 950, this is where I really want to stress that there's not a lot of difference on the TV other than design. The design of the TV is great because it is slimmer. It is 15 millimeters versus 25 millimeters, and it can use the One Connect box on the 950 versus the 900. It is only available in an 85-inch on the 950 versus the 900. But for a customer that wants the top-end picture quality and doesn't want to have to use the One Connect box or something along that nature, the 900 works for them. But if they want it to be really closely mounted to the wall, they want that no-gap wall mount, and they want it to be a really slim TV, that 950 is going to be the solution for them because it comes with a no-gap wall mount. It comes with that One Connect box that allows our inputs to be in the One Connect box, not in the TV, so it can be a little slimmer. And that really improves the design of that TV. All right, so let's move on to audio. But real quick, I want to jump back to Jonathan and see if there's anything else in the question box that I need to address. Kind of running slim on time.
Hey, so one question that came up that I don't have the information right in front of me, but game mode on-off commands, are they available with our control systems, our IP and RS-232 control systems?
That's a great question. I don't know offhand, but later on in the slideshow, I'll have a great resource that you can call to find out.
Perfect. I think we've got everything else answered in the pod. So for everybody else, if you have questions, don't hesitate to throw them up there. We will answer all of them as they're rolling in.
All right, sounds great. All right, so one of the great things with our TVs is because we have that object tracking sound in our Q80 and above, it gives us those additional speakers. So we can use our Samsung soundbars, pair them with the TV, and not eliminate all the TV speakers themselves. So Q Symphony is what it's going to do is it's going to allow those top speakers on the TV to still function with the TV itself. And it gives us a little bit more rich and a little bit better quality audio to that. The soundbars that do work with that are going to be the Q60, Q70, and Q800. The differences in those three soundbars is the Q60 is a virtual DTS bar, the Q70 is a true Dolby Atmos soundbar, and the Q800 is again a true Dolby Atmos soundbar, a little bit more powerful with a larger subwoofer, 8-inch subwoofer. All three of these have the option to work with a rear wireless kit if they wanted to make it a complete system though. Things that we've done from last year to this year is we've made the design of them a little smaller. We've repositioned the acoustic beam on some of the models. So the Q70 and the Q800, that acoustic beam has been moved to the front of the soundbar to really drive the audio out and allow you to put the soundbar up against the wall to kind of help audio quality. You'll notice that we have more Atmos soundbars, and that's really because there's just more Atmos content available. Because of the fact that, you know, a lot more providers are putting it out, we want to give a bigger assortment for customers to be able to choose from. We have the 800 and the 70 that's already available. 60 technically will support virtualized, and then of course the 90 and 80 that will carry over, plus the new models that'll be replacing that later on this half. Plus, one of the things that we always get asked about is eARC. So TV-wise, eARC works TU 7000 and above, has eARC functionality into it. Soundbar with eARC functionality is all of our Dolby Atmos soundbars, so Q70 and above. So it has to be a true Dolby Atmos soundbar to have eARC because that's the only ones that are actually going to need the eARC capabilities. Then we do have our new stylish and design soundbars, which are going to be the S-Series soundbars. They're going to be sound designed by a textile company called Kvadrat. They come in gray or black. So the ones, the 41 and 61 will be gray. The 40 and the 60 is in a black color. These are all-in-one soundbars, so they don't actually come with a subwoofer. They're full range. That really provides a great audio system. I know a buddy of mine bought the S60, absolutely loves it, doesn't have a subwoofer, doesn't even think it needs a subwoofer. But if you do want to add one, you can purchase an additional subwoofer with it. I think what this soundbar does is really gives us more of a lifestyle piece for the soundbar because it really makes us a design piece first when it comes down to it. Other things we do offer is a Samsung.com/custom install. This is a great portal and solution for you because we have the ability to provide additional resources for you, whether it's CAD drawings, machine drawings, or just additional spec sheets for you. If you go to samsung.com/custom install, you can actually sign up here, put where you're getting your information from, who the contact is, and we'll approve your information. And then what you do is go to the resource tag under the custom integrator site, and you will find all of this different information. It is like shopping on Samsung.com. You can literally find all kinds of information. I think one of the most important things are the machine drawings, because you can literally see how far to the left and how far from the top of the TV the VESA pattern starts with any of the models or any of the size TVs we have, which really provides you a great solution when you're doing pre-wiring or pre-installing a TV itself. It really provides great solutions. Plus, you know, when there's user manuals, spec sheets, and different other things along that nature. There are also multiple ways for you to get support. One of the best ways for you to do that is our tech support hotline. The tech support hotline is going to be great if you have problems with the TVs themselves. And then the tech support hotline is great if you have an issue getting something to work. The dealer service hotline is if you have problems with the product itself. So these are great numbers here to actually have notated and wrote down. If need be, we can send these out later on. The next one we're going to get on the next slide. I'm going to keep this up here for at least another second or two, just so people can write these down, take a picture of them or whatever. But these are great resources for you to be able to go to. These should always be your first line of defense when it goes to looking these up. The second line of defense would be Braun Consulting. These are the guys that probably would have that information about whether or not we have a direct command for game mode on and off. These are going to be kind of like level 2 tech support is what I would consider it. However, they're a very small team. So if we called them every time, it would be very hard to get through to them. You're going to be backed up, and you're more likely going to be able to get an answer from our standard tech support number. So using these guys only when needed is probably more important, but they do offer great support. They will speak your language. They're not going to say, is the TV plugged in? Do you have batteries in the remote? They're going to be able to talk to you about your actual programming of, let's say, a Control 4 system on a Samsung TV. You know, they're going to know about the drivers and how they work. So that's really going to be a great solution to be able to provide that. But with that being said, I'm going to minute over. I'm not very good with the time management today. I want to pass it back to Gary to see if there's any closing remarks. I also am going to go through the question and answer pod while Gary's talking and make sure that all these questions do get answered. And please, I will keep this open for an extra 5 minutes or so to make sure we do have all the questions answered.
Oh, Kyle, great job, buddy. No, don't be so hard on yourself. It's 8:01, man. That was a perfectly timed hour, packed. Anyway, from all of the Snap AV local team, thank you so much, you guys. That was action-packed. Hey, Kyle, if you could at least give me those last couple cells with the contact information, I will get this wrapped up with the video to all the attendees on the email on Friday. So I really appreciate that. So we don't get asked questions. Hey, I didn't take a picture of that, but give me as much graphic stuff as you can. I will link obviously everything to Samsung. So look for a late Friday email from me to all attendees. Okay, guys. So yeah, you can go ahead and field some of the last questions. We'll stay on board for a couple more minutes. We do have another training later on today and another 2 on Friday in case you missed it or you want to pass it to your team. Reach out to me at gary.usher@volutone.com if you need anything in the next couple of days. Otherwise, I do have access to all the attendees. Love to help you guys out. Great job, gentlemen. I'll let you close it out with the final answer of the questions.
All right, I appreciate it. Yes, a couple of good questions I see here in the box I want to bring to everyone's attention is about the Terrace and regarding the HD-based T input. They asked if it's just a standard RG45 connection. Yeah, it is. It actually just, you plug it into the back of the TV. So you just need a HD-based T certified transmitter to work with this, and you're going to be good to go. Other questions will the One Connect box frame, the 55-inch, fit inside of a 14x14 Versa box? In theory, yes, that should work. Just depends on obviously how deep that box is. The 75-inch frame, they mentioned how it shouldn't, but actually it should, because all of our frames are much smaller in size this year than they have been in the past. I know last year it wasn't that way because they were larger in screen size or larger in size themselves. Even though our 85-inch 8K One Connect box is below 14 inches in size, so it should fit in a standard wall box itself. Yeah, otherwise looks like all the questions have kind of been asked. I appreciate the help, Jonathan, and I think we can go ahead and call it then.
All right, guys. Yeah, from all of us at Snap AV Locals, we did this custom training just for you guys. So from everybody from AllNet, MRI, Custom Plus, and Volutone, we thank you guys. Look for your email late Friday night. Gentlemen, can't thank you enough. Everybody be safe out there. Let's keep it going.